Y'all faves been thievin'. I wasn't going to talk about this, not because I don't think it's a valid topic, but only because I feel like it's already been covered pretty well in the past couple of days. My girls, Leah Gordon and As Told by Kenya, have both already talked about this, so I will link both of their videos in the description box, of course. My day ones know very, very well that I am not here to add nothing new to a conversation when it comes to my content. Whether the topic is shampoo or systematic oppression, if I feel like I have nothing new or helpful or just different to offer to the conversation, I just stay out of it, simple and plain. But I was chatting with one of you guys on Instagram about this yesterday. Shout out Ellie if you're watching this. And the more I thought about it, the more I felt that it might indeed be time for another volume of Nobody Asked You Ho. Plus, I often forget that just because I'm seeing the same story discussed more than once in my feed doesn't mean that y'all are seeing it too in y'all's feeds. So if you don't already know what we're talking about today based on the thumbnail for my video, we're talking about Chelsea Worthy, who is a content creator on Instagram, and she came up with a very creative and unique style of makeup tutorials set to trap music. Honestly, thanks to makeup junkie culture, there kind of isn't a space for tutorials anymore, full stop. We all pretty much know how to do a smoky eye at this point. But because Chelsea is brilliant and lit as she managed to revamp the whole game, made tutorials her own, and came up with her Traptorials. Her tutorials aren't necessarily going to teach you step by step how to do the makeup because, again, we're way past that anyway. It's more about just having dope entertainment while she serves you looks, creativity, and inspiration. Because spiritually, I am an 80-year-old man, I am generally out of it. I don't know who anyone is or what is going on social media almost all of the time, so I will confess I was not familiar with Chelsea or her work until yesterday. But the fact remains she has gotten a ton of recognition from outlets like VH1 and Pop Sugar, dating all the way back to 2017. There are receipts, and she does deserve every bit of that shine. After getting just a little taste of her work, I took my ass straight over to her Instagram page to follow. I hope you will do the same. I have linked her page below. But of course, there is a problem, and the long and short of it is quite a few influencers with considerably larger followings have lifted her entire idea, her entire aesthetic, her entire editing style, didn't credit her, and then proceeded to claim that they had never heard of her nor seen her work in the first place.
I don't know her.
At the moment, the biggest accusations are being hurled at Manny MUA and Patrick Star, which is peculiar because don't they hate each other? How'd they manage to connive to rip off the same girl at the same time? Allegedly, after Chelsea confronted them in the comments under their posts about ripping her off, her comments were deleted, and she also suspected that she may have been shadow banned from their pages. Full disclosure, I'm not exactly sure what that would entail. I do know that certain hashtags are shadow banned, but I don't really know how you shadow ban a person or what happens when you do that. Anyway, after her comments were supposedly deleted from their posts, she then took to her own platform to expose all of this. And quite frankly, it is abundantly clear that they drew inspiration from her work. It is not up for debate. Then, of course, came the PR and damage control with the "I'm so sorry, I totally support your journey" from Manny and Patrick. Patrick Star then took to his platform to post screenshots of an apology / offer to give her opportunities through his management of some sort, which he had apparently sent her the night before she went to her platform and went public about all of this. Now, I do like Patrick Star, and I do hope that his apology and his offer to help her in her endeavors were sincere. But if I recall correctly, the screenshot of this message from Patrick to Chelsea showed that it had not been read or seen by Chelsea by the time he was posting his receipts to his social media. So if she had indeed been blocked or banned by him in some way on Instagram, even if only temporarily while his team and him sorted out triage behind this whole disaster, it is possible that she couldn't see his message, or it even just got buried because she had too many messages flooding her inbox. Again, Leah Gordon definitely does break down the play-by-play of who said and who posted what in her video, so do go check that out. Suffice to say, I found Patrick Starr's tone in his responses to be quite duplicitous and nasty nice, as Leah put it. It sounded more to me like he was trying to get in front of a possible backlash. Perhaps he saw a storm coming and he wanted to make sure that he would have receipts to prove that he's a nice guy, and then was seemingly annoyed that she put him on blast anyway. So now you're all caught up, and as I said, I had not even planned to talk about this, mainly because this kind of thing happens all the time, but in an M. Night Shyamalan-esque twist, I think the fact that this happens all the time is actually what pushed me to go ahead and talk about this today. There There are myriad instances of entities and brands like Fashion Nova, your favorite celebrity, your favorite influencer, which is not to be confused with a celebrity, ripping off someone else, ripping off the little guy. Fundamentally, it comes down to a sense of entitlement. There are plenty of people who think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with ripping off someone else, with ripping off someone else's IP, taking it and presenting it as his or her own and never crediting the originator. How many times have we heard about comedians getting busted for stealing jokes? Creative theft by those who are visible and powerful happens every day from those who are invisible and powerless every day in every industry. But let's be clear, those who are stealing the ideas and the little guys who are getting ripped off come in all shades. It's not always a race thing. Having said that, there is a curiously high and disproportionate incidence of these little guys being Black women. I've been the victim of creative theft, not just here on my dinky little personal channel, but in my career and at the hands of massive companies. Seems like I see stories like this about Black girls and women getting shafted on a weekly basis, and what usually happens is nothing. I guess my hope is that if we keep clocking this when it happens and we keep our foot on these thieves' necks, perhaps they'll think twice before they steal from another Black woman without at least adding her. Because this is not okay. People without power and influence, Black people, Black women especially, are constantly devalued in society, in social media, in everything. And this is by everyone, including ourselves. I don't think I can communicate effectively just how pervasive misogynoir, the systematic oppression, erasure, and hatred of Black women reaches. And misogynoir doesn't only come from non-Black people. There are Black men and Black women who will go out of their way to stop another Black woman's bag just because they've convinced themselves that the white man's ice is colder. I've spoken before about the phenomenon of a product being perceived as inherently better when it comes from someone other than a Black person, and especially from someone other than a Black woman, even if a Black woman is the one who created this product in the first place. And in this instance with Chelsea, where the Black woman who created it also did it infinity times better. When I saw Chelsea's video and then it was followed by Manny MUA's for comparison right after, I deadass said out loud to my TV, the no flavor. Clearly I've been watching entirely too much Adrian Expression, who by the way is also linked below. Go check him out. Anyway, I got secondhand embarrassment watching that video. Manny, you're not worthy. Literally. The irony of all of this is, of course, that while Black women are so devastatingly devalued, we continue to prove time and time again that our value is infinite. People take and take and take from Black women and girls over and over and over. We get nothing, and then we just come up with something else that's even more flame than the last y'all stole. Black girl magic, as it's been coined, is often imitated but never duplicated, but that does not stop people from trying anyway. After all, if whichever Cardassian can profit off of stealing from the originality, resourcefulness, and beauty of Black women and get away with it, why not your favorite influencer or fast fashion brand? Chelsea also revealed that she's been posting a lot less lately because she's tired of seeing people rip off her entire concept, rip off her entire brand, not credit her, and then she's seen several opportunities go to other people that she deserves. She's even struggling with depression behind this. She said herself that this industry has made it clear that they don't want her. As talented, original, and beautiful that we can clearly see she is, it's also very clear to me that she's not exaggerating. Progress is being made, but it's at a glacial pace. The fact remains, Chelsea is not the right kind of Black girl to a lot of brands. These opportunities will go to a non-Black cis man in makeup far sooner than they're likely to go to a dark or brown-skinned Black woman, especially a Black woman who knows her worth and will speak up on some bullshit. And I relate, even though I was kidding in my video the other day about why brands don't want to work with me, there's truth behind the joke. I have to pass on more than 90% of the offers that I do get because how am I look doing videos about detox tea or 5011 wig reviews? I'd rather be broke than look like a big dumb fraud. Meanwhile, I've seen much more prestigious opportunities go to YouTubers with far smaller and less engaged audiences than what I have for years. And that was when I was still out in these streets trying not to ruffle any feathers and still play by the rules, so now I definitely have no chance. So I relate to Chelsea because I know how much it hurts to be passed over for opportunities that you would love to have, but I'm also not willing to be a shill. In being real and doing what she's doing, Chelsea knows all too well that speaking out about her content getting ripped off is going to hurt her far more than it hurts Manny MUA or Patrick Starr. Again, by being black women, we are devalued from the jump. But as black women who prioritize honesty in the face of public scrutiny, and more importantly, in the face of brand scrutiny, that is not seen as a virtue, that is seen as a liability. It all goes back to control, like what I've been saying about YouTube with these crazy demonetizations. These brands don't like people who they can't control, people who won't fall in line, or people who they see as too uppity. Chelsea even supposed that Instagram might go so far as to remove her account because she was speaking out against such big creators on the platform. If you don't think that sounds plausible, I'm afraid you're more than a little naive. As soon as you have even a modicum of self-worth and you advocate for yourself, you're labeled as an ABW. And the only brands hitting you up are the ones that know your subscriber count, but not your name. The issue of black women being blacklisted for demanding parity and recognition for our contributions reaches far beyond YouTube and Instagram. And if you don't believe me, just ask Monique. Telling the truth is costly, believe me. To quote The Wire, which I often like to do, conscience do cost. Okay, hopefully you guys are 2 cents richer after hearing my unsolicited opinions on this whole Chelsea Worthy debacle. Again, her page is linked in the description box, and feel free to sound off with your thoughts on this whole matter. Beyond that, I got nothing except a gentle reminder to never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm gonna tell you that now.